Well, kicking things off today with Nvidia, shares are continuing to slide this morning after dipping into correction territory Monday, down more than 10% from its record closing high in November. And we're seeing shares pre-market lower by just about 2%. We'll round that off to just round figures here. But ultimately, I think the key to watch from here is for all of the buy on the dip mentality that we've heard over the past several weeks. For this, the poster child of AI, it'll be interesting to watch how many buyers certainly enter back into and what type of flows we see into Nvidia, even off of some of the pressure that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, I think when you take a look at where we are here today, right around 130, the next critical level to watch, what I've been seeing here from a lot of the notes out this morning from the technical side of this equation, is 100-day moving average, which is right around 128, so just below where it looks like we are here in the pre-market. I think you got to take a step back and take a look at what is driving maybe some of the concerns. Remember, though, this is a stock that's still up over 160% year to date, so it's important to put that in context here. But we're seeing a lot of favoritism or a lot of, I guess, money flowing into one of its competitors. When you take a look at Broadcom, some of the excitement there, and I bring that up because we talk time and time again just about this moat, how much Nvidia has dominated the AI conversation, and whether or not there is some sort of threat here from competitors. We are certainly seeing a rising here in terms of its competition with the outperformance here of Broadcom. Broadcom saying that AI revenue is going to quadruple in the next 3 years. So I think the market is taking a look at that, hey, that could actually signal maybe potential share loss, market share loss here going forward for Nvidia. But I was also going through some of the analyst notes out this morning and really over the last couple of days, and at least from an analyst perspective, there does still seem to be consensus that this is a good buy, especially at these levels. They talk about the fact that how big of a player, how dominant of a player Nvidia remains. And they also just make the great point that I thought was that it's far from a zero-sum game. There's multiple winners here. It's not just a Broadcom. It's not Broadcom versus Nvidia or AMD. Obviously, it's enough to go around and enough here to fuel some of this bullish theory here, or bullish thesis here going forward. But again, we are seeing a bit of a dip here, to say the least, for Nvidia, with the stock off just about 11%. So questions about when exactly that next catalyst is going to come into play.
Yeah, I mean, this is a company that really wants to make sure that the narrative continues to resound among investors and their core clients and portfolio base about them being the largest inferencing platform in the world. And this is going to be massive for some of the larger generative AI ambitions and goals, especially considering the stack that we've been talking about for the better part of 2 years now, where you have applications that sit on top of the models and those models sitting on top of the chips. And that's where Nvidia sits at the base of this, the foundation of that AI tree, if you will. So all of these things considered, the advancements that they're going to be continuing to talk about from here forward is what the compute processing can look like for some of these algorithms for the inferencing throughput as well. They talked about this on the earnings call. You're going to hear a lot more about Hopper. You're going to hear a lot more about things like Blackwell. And it's just good to keep tabs on quarter over quarter each of these earnings calls to see what type of advancements they're making. Hopper inference, for instance, that throughput is increasing by about 5x in 1 year, they mentioned. And then additionally, they've got more of the performance that they're looking to add on by about 2.4x. So all these things considered, it'll be interesting to watch where the customers of Nvidia continue to say, okay, it sounds like this is just going to get faster and faster on what these chips are able to do, and trying to figure out, all right, at what price point they should just continue to buy in. And then, oh yeah, what the churn looks like on these chips too. And that's going to be kind of a longer term implication that we'll see over time what some of the purchasing cyclicality looks like from these customers.